I'm Anthony Elmore, a 5-time Memphis won world kickboxing champion, Memphis' first independent theatrical filmmaker, Memphis' first Black Memphis history curator. Today, we bring you a very exciting lecture. My lecture today is called Black on Black Racism, Reason for Black Inequality, and the reason we have no Black Memphis History Museum in Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the largest majority Black city in the United States, remains shaped by the forces of white supremacy and systematic racism, yet beyond the historically oppressive structures imposed by Memphis' white elite, there exists a pervasive culture of Black on Black racism, an internal struggle that obstructs Black equality and erases vital Black Memphis history. Nowhere, and this is more evident than the absence of a Black Memphis History Museum, a glaring omission that underscores how Black leaders have failed to protect the rich legacy of the city's African American heritage. You see, the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4, 1968 remains a profound moment in Memphis history, yet decades later, the city's relationship with Dr. King's legacy has transformed into a commercial enterprise. As we talk about, you see, Memphis is pimping off the death of Dr. King, citing how popular tours charge significant fees while failing to honor the broader struggle of Black liberation, while Memphis boasts a cotton museum dedicated to the history of a crop deeply tied to Black suffering. It lacks a Black Memphis History Museum, and that reflects how Black Memphis leaders knowingly and unknowingly perpetuate the very systems of oppression they claim to fight against. You see, the brutal beating of Tyre Nichols on February 4th, 2023 by 5 Black Memphis police officers further exemplifies the city's deeply ingrained racial contradictions. See, the tragedy drew national figures like Vice President Kamala Harris, civil rights leaders Al Sharpton, and filmmaker Spike Lee to Memphis and mourning. Yet Nichols' death is also illuminated in insidious truth. You see, Black leadership in Memphis has maintained a system where Black oppression does not solely come from white institutions, but is often enforced by Black figures themselves. You see, the critically acclaimed 2025 movie Sinners, written by Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan, served as an allegory for the paradox of white supremacy, racism, and Black on Black oppression. You see, the film vampires acts as metaphors for the explosive figures who prey on the very people they claim to protect. The narrative mirrors the life dynamics in Memphis, where Black leaders, much like the vampires of sinners, drain the life and legacy out of the Black community in Memphis for personal gain. You see, on April 2024, Anthony Elmore confronted Memphis Mayor Paul Young, urging him to address the intertwined forces of white supremacy, racism, and Black on Black racism. Memphis leaders continue to suppress its Black identity, sidelining us, you see, who fight to preserve and elevate Black Memphis history. You see, I'm a 5-time world karate kickboxing champion, the city's first 35mm independent theatrical filmmaker, and its first self-described Black Memphis history curator. See, our struggle is against the entrenched political and cultural forces in Memphis that mirrors the battle within centers where vampires thrive on the suffering and the ignorance of their victims. See, Black Memphis leaders, through a culture of white supremacy, inequality, and a lack of Black pride, have become the very vampires of their own people, degrading and diminishing Black Memphis history while ensuring that only white narratives dominate the city's cultural landscape. You see, filmmaker Ryan Coogler, whose family migrated from Mississippi during the Great Black Exodus, crafted centers with creative control, using this platform to educate, inform, and inspire Black audiences. See, the film explores themes of oppression, supernatural horror, and systematic inequality, paralleling the situation in Memphis where cultural vampires erase Black Memphis history in favor of a whitewashed narrative. You see, set in Clarksville, Mississippi in 1932, centers follow Smoke and Stack, twins who returned from Chicago to open a juke joint outside Clarksville, the birthplace of blues. You see, the film blends supernatural horror, gangster, drama, romantic, and music, all set against the backdrop of the oppressive Jim Crow South. The story themes resonates deeply with Memphis, a city where Black history is systematically erased, denied, and overshadowed by economic and political structures that favor white filmmakers and white institutions. You see, we have fought against this erasure, documenting Memphis history through videos and storytelling. You see, on April the 5th, 2022, we released a YouTube video chronicling Black Memphis contributions to world history, stories systematically obscured by Black leaders who failed to protect their own legacy. See, our video titled Orange Mound is the only hood connected to the father of the blues, B.B. King, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, and the king of the blues, B.B. King, reveals how Black musical roots remain ignored despite figures like Booker White, a legendary Delta blues guitarist and cousin of B.B. King, having lived in Orange Mound and shaped the city's musical heritage. You see, Memphis has 2 Black mayors, a majority Black city council, a majority Shelby County Commission, and a majority Shelby County School Board, yet systematic barriers remain firmly intact. The U.S. Constitution states, quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, but in Memphis the truth is far from acknowledged. Black leaders, instead of advancing equality and cultural pride, perpetuates oppression through Black-on-Black racism." You see, until Memphis reckons with its own vampires, the leaders who extract Black culture while sustaining white supremacy, this cycle of exploitation will continue, ensuring that Black Memphis history remains a ghost story rather than a celebrated legacy.